What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to those who are new to my channel. Also, my name is Jazz or Jazzy. On my previous video I talked about my boyfriend and just his background story. Those of you who are new can go ahead and watch all my previous videos. Yeah, so today I wanted to ask you guys a personal question. I'm gonna see if do any of you believe in angels. The reason why I asked that question is because I personally myself believe in angels and believe that there is a God, there's a heaven, there's angels and everything, and I believe God works in mysterious ways. And the reason that being said is because those of you who know, I lost my boyfriend, and at the time of him passing, I knew exactly where he went and where he was, and I knew exactly what he was doing, but at the time I didn't have any communication with him, so I wasn't sure if he was okay or not. In my previous video it says how they found him unresponsive on the streets, and I think it's just so crazy how God works in mysterious ways, or it just works in different ways, because the whole time he had put someone very close to me now, someone who helped me and helped his family, there for him. She was an angel. I have a feeling God put her there for a reason. God had her stay by his side for a reason. And that being said, the night of his passing, she was the one who made the 911 call for him, and that really touched me a lot, because this lady, she did not know him at all. She didn't know who he was, and he was a complete stranger to her, and she put the effort to just make sure he was okay and nothing bad was happening, and did her effort at making that phone call. Unfortunately, during the time when she had asked police, I had asked for help and requested for help for him and stuff, she was denied help. And this being said, the police department was literally right across the street from where they found him unresponsive, and just like I said, she was a complete stranger. She just had previously walked up that street and seen him and assumed obviously that he was sleeping, but something in her had been told her that something was completely wrong, something wasn't right. And she walked back down. She actually tried feeling for a pulse. She did touch on his stomach, and I believe he wasn't breathing. And that's when she went across the police station to go ahead and notify them, and actually asked them if they can call an ambulance for him, because he wasn't responding, and she felt like something was wrong. And unfortunately, the police department did nothing to help. They did nothing to save his life, you know. And as we can see on the news, as we can see on social media, as we can see, there's a lot of police brutality, police discrimination, there's a lot to do with the police, and a lot to do with the system in general. And it's just really upsetting, because they're supposed to be out here helping us, you know, saving lives, or helping make this world better, you know. Unfortunately, that day when she requested help, all they did was laugh at her, and that just because they were on a really bad street, just thought he was another person on drugs or stuff like that, or just a homeless or intoxicated, you know. And it was just really upsetting to hear that coming from her, and to hear that they did nothing to save his life. Maybe, just maybe, you know, there was that possibility, if they would have responded faster, he could still be here with us. unfortunately that didn't happen. And to this day, it makes me really upset and makes me really feel like really disgusted about the police officers or whomever, that police department in general, because they did nothing to save a man's life or his life, you know. They couldn't, it's not only just him, but thousands and thousands of them, you know. And for that, I feel like there should be a change in that. Just because you assume they're on a bad street, or just because you assume they're homeless, or just because you junkie or something, you know, that isn't right. You should be there to help anybody, no matter what it is. And the fact that they just laughed at her, and the fact that they discriminated her just because, I believe also she was African American as well. So I feel like that had a lot to do as well. And just from the street they were on, it wasn't a really good street. And then a lot of people know this street, and known for there to be a lot of homeless, a lot of drug addiction people, a lot of alcohol addiction and stuff. But I feel like that's not right, to discriminate someone or just ignore them, you know. So while they were laughing at her, she was defending herself. She was obviously upset because they weren't doing nothing to save his life, and she took initiative and did it in her own hands to give 911 a call an ambulance to come for him. And they came. They took a couple minutes to come and stuff. She just said she found him unresponsive, and she felt for a pulse. There was no pulse. She touched his stomach to see if he was breathing. He was not breathing. And you know what, I feel like God put her there for a reason, you know, for his body not to be left alone. Because throughout that time he was unresponsive, and throughout the time the ambulance were on their way, she was there waiting with him. Actually, she never left his side up until they took him off the streets and rushed him to the hospital. And I'm just very thankful God put her there for a reason, and God allowed her to be there for him. God just did so much for him, you know. And it just makes me happy that he was found, you know, although it's not how I wanted him to be found, but I'm happy he was found, and his body, we were able to know exactly what was going on, you know. Because imagine him going through what he went through, and for the police just to assume or think that he was another homeless or something, or just someone just sleeping on the street, and not even pay mind to it. Like, a day could have passed by and we could have not known if he was okay or not, you know, or who knows, you know. And I'm just very thankful to her and to God for allowing her to be there for him. And it just makes me very happy and feel at ease and at peace that she was there. She's someone very special to us. We've obviously kept in touch with her, and she is a very special person to us also, because of her being there with him throughout the whole time. She actually took photos of him, and she didn't know who he was. I mean, I asked myself, what was the purpose of that, you know, like how and why would she take pictures of him, you know, like, I don't know. It's just something very crazy to think about, and just something to like really wrap your head around. After the day of, you know, of his passing, the next day, me and his family members, his cousins, and me and his cousins, yeah, we went down to that area to know, you know, to pay our respects and leave some candles, some flowers and stuff, to see exactly where he took his last breath, you know. At first it was just really hard. Like, it was hard to just like even think like, man, this is where you last took your breath, or this is the last place anyone saw you alive. And it was hard also just because I didn't know exactly where he was found, or where on that street he was found, or like where, you know, it was just really hard to like know where. I was able to, I had his cell phone with me, so I was able to see on where his cell phone was last located, and we did ended up in that area. It was just really hard for us to know exactly where, but we ended up in that area. Like I said, the police department was literally right across the street, and we went ahead and asked the police department, you know, because there were some officers out there. We went ahead and asked. I was like, hey, did any of you see the ambulance actually came here like the night before to pick up someone who was found unresponsive and stuff like that? And at first, the first police officer that we had asked was kind of being really rude and just not. He was just being really rude. Honestly, like not cooperating at all. He had mentioned saying, no, we didn't find anybody here. There was no one here. We didn't see nothing. Sorry. And I was like, okay, well, thank you, I guess. And so we asked again. We asked another officer, and then they were just talking among themselves. And then they were like, well, usually if they're unresponsive, they get found right there, like almost a corner, but not a corner, and in front of like a building. And we're like, okay, thank you, you know, thank you. So as we went ahead and crossed back to the street, we went to that area where they told us where they found the unresponsive people, and we formed a circle, and we left our candles and put our candles and our flowers down, and we started praying. We started giving out prayers and just praying a lot for him. You know, we said, we miss you, we love you. I prayed so much that I prayed why, you know, asking God why, and just, you can never get your answer, but I just prayed and prayed, you know, for him. And the moment we finished praying, well, we had said, we love you, we miss you, and we're getting ready to leave and just finish paying our respects. The moment we start leaving, walking away, a lady walks by, and at first, honestly, I didn't see her. Because we were just finishing up praying. We were just like hugging each other, you know. Everyone was hugging me and stuff, just because we were all in pain, you know. We were all in pain. We just lost someone very special to us, and we were just all really sad, and we were just hugging each other. And a lady had passed by and actually approached one of his cousins and was like, excuse me, like, you know, you guys resemble a lot the man who passed away here last night. And that's when I heard that, and I was like, what's going on? And it was crazy, because his cousin was like, hey, you know, she's saying that she saw Brandon, and we're just all so confused. We were like, what? Like, what do you mean you saw him? You know, like, where? Like, was he okay? And I just asking a whole bunch of questions, you know. And it was just so crazy, because I don't know, how did she just appear there right after we finished praying? It was just crazy. So she's telling us like, yeah, he was here last night. I found him unresponsive. I tried reaching out to the police department, going over there to the police department, but they didn't do nothing. They just laughed at me. I went off on them. And we're like, what? Like, we were just over there asking them, and they were being hella rude to us. Like, I can now see why, you know. But then she's like, yeah, I have pictures and blah blah. And I was like, what? And the minute she showed me, because she was showing his cousin, and he came to me and showed me the pictures. He's like, look, is this him? And literally when I saw the pictures, my heart literally just dropped. It dropped, because I was like, oh my God, that's him. That's Brandon. That's him. And I just started bursting into tears and crying. I was like, oh my God, like, oh my God, you know. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it that she was the one who made that 911 call, that she was the one who stuck there by his side up until, yeah, they took him. And it was just crazy. Like, when she was speaking to me, I honestly felt I was like looking into his eyes, because like I just thought that was just like a miracle, because like God heard our prayers, or Brandon brought her to us in some way, you know, because it's just crazy. It's like something unexplainable, you know, like it's crazy to even think about, like hard to explain. But mind you, it was also like really like pitch, well, it's not pitch dark, but it was dark, and it was late at night. It was like around 10ish. Like, there's no one on the streets around that time, you know, like it was just randomly, yeah, it was just like a miracle that happened. It was just crazy. And mind you, we also didn't know who she was, or nor did we know who had made that 911 call, because it was anonymous, and they couldn't give us any details of who was the one who made that call. And for her just to show up, and just, that's just something really crazy. Like, I really think that was God, and I really think that was Brandon, because how does that happen, you know? And I'm very thankful to God, mostly because he didn't abandon his body. Like I had said, like imagine she wouldn't have passed by and like felt what she felt, or even called, or even tried to attempt to speak to the police department and stuff like that. Like, we could have not known. We would have not known till the next day that he had passed. And I think that would be even more hurtful, you know. And it's just so crazy. It's just like, I'm just very thankful she was there. I'm very thankful that she stuck by his side up until they took him to the hospital. I'm thankful she took those photos. Thankful she told us in exact details, like I had mentioned in my story, that they were working on him CPR for about 20-30 minutes there, where he was found unresponsive, and she told us the whole exact details and everything, you know. To this day, we still keep in touch with her, just because we're really thankful and blessed that she was there that day, you know, that she was the one who made that call, that she didn't leave his side up until they took him. And we were just really thankful. And that's why I ask you if you guys believe in angels, because there are angels all around us, and although we can't see them, or although we don't know, any random person can be an angel from above, you know. And yeah, we're just really thankful to her, thankful for her to be there, and just everything, you know. It really brought a lot of peace and closure to us, that he wasn't alone during that time, you know, that at least he had someone there, and at least he had her, you know. And yeah, you guys, it's something really crazy. And I know, like I said, there's a heaven, and there are angels, and there's a God. So really have your faith in him, and he will return the favor, and he will get to you, you know. Recently, I've reached out to a medium. I did it not because I just wanted to connect with him, or just because I wanted, you know, to know about the unknown. No, I did it because I have peace in my heart already, knowing that he's okay, you know, knowing he's in heaven, you know, knowing he's there, knowing that he's just okay, you know. I know that because, like I said, I have a lot of faith in God, and I know that he's in a good place. He's in a better place than he was here. I did it just just so I could have a little bit more closure, you know, and just so I can know a little bit, you know, not for any other reason. I just did it also because I am grieving, and you know, and I just wanted to feel or hear him, or not exactly, but you know, just from someone else who can and who has that gift. And I'll be sharing that experience with you guys very soon. And like I said, it's really hard to lose a loved one. It's really hard, and I don't wish it upon anybody. And I know death can't be stopped, and it's always around us. And but I really miss him a lot, and it's been very hard these last couple months. It's just so different to live life without him no more, you know. Even though I know he's with me spiritually, and very, I know he's watching over me and my boys, but it's just really hard because I really miss him, you know, and all we had was each other, and all I knew was him, you know. He was my best friend, someone very special to me, and not having him has made me appreciate all the things he did for me, and how he was so kind to me, and how much he loved me as a person, you know. I know sometimes we get arguments or conflicts or just, you know, fights, or just we fight for the littlest things, you know, with our couples. And you know, and sometimes you look back and think like, why did we fight? Or you know, we're fighting over the littlest thing, like, you know. And it happens, but I honestly feel like you should love one another and just be very grateful and thankful to have each other, because at the end of the day, it's just you two, you know. No one can break that bond. No one can break that love you guys have for each other. And yeah, it's something very different losing someone you truly love, your significant other, you know. So yeah, appreciate one another, be kind to one another. If things aren't working out, settle it, but settle it in the right way, you know. Do it in the way you're both gonna be okay, you know. And like I had said in my previous video, I'm always here for anybody, and I'm here to help, and I'm here for you guys just to go along and join me on this journey, my life without B, and just my life with my boys and stuff. And yeah, just reach out to me and feel free to ask me anything. Feel free, just if anyone needs someone to talk, I'm always here. And yeah, so I want to thank y'all for watching my video, and thank you for continuing to follow me along in this journey, and just keep an eye out for my next video. Okay, and if you haven't already done so, please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment, and hit your notification buttons to stay tuned for my next video. Thank you guys.